active and have commonality, we need to use the commercial fixtures, or the other way around. They can use our shuttle stuff. Won't happen.
Well, you could have spares on board that you can attach.
Or shoes there that go back and forth. One other thing which they use all the time is our tools. Tools are a very, very, very valuable commodity on station, and depending on the crew member, a crew member may or may not keep a tool longer than another in terms of losing it or not losing it. Generally, the tools are found again, but after maybe a period of months. So you can't just send one of a tool. If it's an important tool, you need to send a few copies of it. Because each crew member will generally try and keep it for his or herself for a while while they're working on something. And one of the things that you very rapidly realize what is a critical tool. And one of the critical tools is the locker extraction tool. Because there's actually two of them on board, but there's only one handle, I think. One little ratchet wrench that interfaces with it. And so I was telling everybody, you must not lose this, you know. Because, and again, they use metric as opposed to imperial. But our Parada tool case is half empty and is stored in Parada right now. Our Spectre tool case is mostly full, but has been long ago adapted into the kind of the mere inventory of tools in the base block. And it's not something any crew member wants to tell a Russian crew that, oh, we've got to take this back and put it in our. You don't have our territory. You don't have our space. It's all everybody's space. So we've got to know as a program that when we send up useful things like this, Sony Walk Player, Discman and Sony Walkman and all that stuff, it seems like we've supplied the core of their entertainment for exercise, for sure. That's just fine, you know. But on the other hand, they have a great stereo system that we all enjoy when we're in the base block. You know, with car speakers and 10-time CD player.
Mike, are there any tools? Yeah, now you brought it up, what should we be sparing? Are there any tools that are totally lost or in real short supply and are in high demand?
Ratchet wrenches are short supply. Vice grips are in short supply. Adjustable wrenches especially. Believe it or not, Phillips heads. Phillips heads and the small little electrical, 25-cent screwdrivers, yeah. They're in terribly short supply. Probably because they're small and they get lost. But if you made them bigger, with a big handle. But they're very, very short supply. Just the obvious ones you throw into a kind of emergency electrical toolkit, those are the ones in short supply. The big tools are generally available because they're big wrenches and you don't kind of lose them so easy. A soldering iron has masses of safety issues, I know, on our side, but a soldering iron is a very useful instrument, and solder is in short supply up there. I believe that you should fly tools that allow you to wire pins, to wire plugs up. The 9-pin, all these computer plugs, the 9-pin, the 25-pin. You should fly the ability to wire strip and solder those things, because you end up with a requirement to do it. Plugs. This is the most crazy thing. There are no plugs, no basic plugs without cable. And so to do an extension cable, we were desperate to try and power something way down in Crystal. We didn't have an extension cable. We could make an extension cable, no problem. Just spare wire and spare plugs that we can put together. Maybe not so that we have to solder them, but that we just have adapters, either in the Russian format or in the American format. But plugs and cables are the most critical resource for powering equipment, especially in a power critical situation, in a power outlet limited situation where all your outlets in the base block and you need to get stuff into other modules. That sort of flexibility is really lacking at the moment. I think even now I don't think we have an extension cable that's more than 10 feet long. And that's a great limitation, a huge limitation. When I was doing OPM, OPM has an outlet right next to it where you're meant to plug in the laptop, but its plug is a totally different format, that RBSU, from all the other Russian ones. I don't know why the Russians did that. It's very strange. So it can't take any of our standard NASA RBSU